Hello students, welcome back. In this video, we will learn about some key concepts in cloud computing like scalability, which includes vertical and horizontal scaling, elasticity, agility, high availability, and fault tolerance. So let's start with scalability. Let's assume you have a web application running on a virtual machine. If virtual machine is a new term for you, don't worry. We will understand this in the introduction to compute module. For the time being, think of it as your laptop or desktop with computing power to process any request or command. When more people access your application, it will require more computing power, which is nothing but CPU and memory, to serve all the users. So you will have to scale up this virtual machine by increasing its computing power. If you decide to increase the size of your existing virtual machine, you are moving along the vertical line, which is why this is called vertical scaling, and increasing the size of resource is called scaling up. If you decrease the size or power of the machine, this is known as scaling down. Instead of increasing the size of your virtual machine, you can also scale up your resources by adding more virtual machines to your infrastructure. In this case, we are moving along the horizontal line. Hence, this type of scaling is called horizontal scaling. If you increase the number of your virtual machines, this is called scaling out. And if you decrease the number of the virtual machines, this is called scaling in. To summarize, scalability is the ability of the system to scale. In this case, scaling is a process of increasing or decreasing the compute power. Next is elasticity. Let's assume your application is working fine, but you notice that the load on your application varies throughout the day. The traffic is more during the daytime and less during the night time. So as the day progresses, your application needs more power, but you don't need the same amount of resources during the night. Hence, the ability to scale the virtual machines based on the demand of the application is known as elasticity. In other words, you design the system in such a way that it will be able to allocate and deallocate virtual machines whenever needed. If this process is done automatically, this is called automatic scaling. So elasticity is the ability of the system to scale dynamically. The next concept is agility. Let's take the same application example again. Whether you want to achieve scalability or elasticity for your application, you need more virtual machines, right? So the question is, how quickly can you get virtual machines when you need them? One of the major differences between the cloud and on-premises is that requesting resources in the on-premises environments usually takes days, weeks, or even months, whereas in the cloud, this could be done in minutes or even seconds. Hence, agility is the ability to react quickly. The next concept is high availability. Again, going back to our example application, you are running an application on one virtual machine. Now your security team needs to update security patches to the operating system, which will take an hour or so. So during this time, your application will be down. That's not a good user experience, right? Your users won't be able to use your application for around an hour. In IT terms, we could say the application is not highly available. So, high availability is the ability of a system to operate continuously without failure for a designated period. In this case, to make the application available for your users, you can run the application on two virtual machines. So while your security team will do patching on one virtual machine, another will be available. The next concept is fault tolerance. Alright, let's continue with the same example. Your application is now highly available as you are running your application on two virtual machines. Now you have a strict requirement that your application runs on two virtual machines all the time. Let's assume there is a hard disk crash in one virtual machine. So your application will stop working on that virtual machine. In simpler terms, your virtual machine is not able to tolerate hard disk failure. To cope with such situations, you need a fault tolerant system. Tolerance means the ability of a virtual machine to remain up and running during component and service failures. A fault tolerant system takes care of any failure, repairs it, and keeps the application running. So, fault tolerance refers to the ability of a system, computer, network, storage, etc., to continue operating without interruption when one or more of its components fail. Alright, I hope you now understand the meaning of these cloud specific terms as they are important from the interview point of view. So make sure you are able to explain them.